Hi guys, it's Jason again. This is the third installment for the singers. We went over for the musicians how to set your mix up from a fundamental location, if you will, and then also the first video over how to recall and save your mix. And what we're going to talk about now is for you guys singers, just some good starting points on what to actually look for and some recommendations for some general panning guidelines. So let's get into it. So the first thing and the biggest thing is obviously you want to be able to hear yourself. Now over here we have the master volume, and then if I select my channel, for example if I'm Vox 1, then we have the volume of just Vox 1, and that can be up or down, not affecting the overall master volume of everything else. So do not be afraid to crank this up or grab one of the tech guys and say, I'm having trouble and I have this all the way up and I need more. I'm not getting enough. But I would recommend that that would probably not be the case if you have a good balance of the master volume and not being afraid to go all the way up on your own. We want you to be able to hear easily and clearly and to not have a muddy or distorted mix in your ears. The other thing is the bass and the treble is right here. So this one here, the treble, that can help you clean up or your perceived volume become a little bit louder in your own ears. Now if you have it like this, that's going to sound horrible. If you have it like that, you're not even going to be able to listen to it. So really a good starting point I would say is probably 11 to 1 o'clock on both of those, honestly. So start with something like that. Now this is going to matter. There is no, I typically have mine usually about right there. I've owned headphones in the past that I've had to crank it up to there, honestly, to hear. So there is no set it and forget it on anything, in any denomination, on any soundboard, on whatever you're dealing with. There's no set it and forget it. It's lies from the pit of hell. So the master volume, you need to set it where it's appropriate for you. So the first thing, you want to be able to hear yourself. Secondly, you need to hear the worship leader and the other singers, okay? So now what I do, and we'll get into a little bit of panning right here, is I pan the worship leader, when I'm not the worship leader, to one side, and I pan the other vocalist to the other side. Now I don't do extremes on these, because to me that just doesn't sound musically pleasing. That would be an extreme. This would also be an extreme to the other side. If you see a couple lights lit up, or one light in between the green and the red, you get the picture there. It's just a plumb line. So if I'm a vocalist 1, then I'm going to pan vocalist 2 if they're on my right side, or the worship leader is always going to be to your left side. So pan the other vocalist to your right side, and then pan the worship leader a little bit to your left side. What that's going to help you do is hear things much more separated. It's not going to all be coming at you right down the middle. Now I would recommend having your own voice or your own instrument right down the middle. That's very, very helpful in the event of monitoring or listening to others for singing parts or just singing melody, even for that sake. So melody is a part, I guess. So another thing is you need to be able to hear and feel the rhythm somewhat. What makes up the rhythm? Rhythm instruments would be considered the drums, the bass guitar, sometimes the keyboard, not a lot of times, depending on how heavy or left-handed they're playing. But kick and bass are very, very important. You want to be able to feel the root or the foundation of the music. I typically have those panned to kind of accommodate each other, if you will. I normally run them down the middle, to be honest with you. So we have kind of a saying for the musicians that the kick and the click should be coming right down the middle, meaning click track, and the kick on the bass or on the drums. I'm sorry. So it's a good idea to be able to hear the rhythm section. Very, very good idea. So the second to the last thing I'll talk about a little bit is it's not. You guys over there in the corner, it's not ideal for you, but it is a good idea to try to geographically pan the instruments on the stage. Now what I mean by that is, it's a little bit tricky for you guys, but I typically like to pan the acoustic guitar a little bit to the right and the electric guitar a little bit to the left. when I'm playing the bass guitar. Now, the reason I do that is because, number one, if I'm playing in the bass position, well, the electric guitar is a little bit more left on the stage than the acoustic guitar, so electric guys typically right here, acoustics here. And then I'll have the singers, you guys, over that away. And I'll have the worship leader cheated a little bit to the left. So you guys on the right, worship leader on the left. You get the idea. Looking out into the audience, I'm accommodating where people are standing on the stage, and this will help your brain actually listen to things appropriately where you're just most apt to look when you hear something anyways, because you know in your mind where that person is standing anyway. So being able to hear that appropriately to where they're standing is pretty important. So look for that. The last thing is, if you sense that you have to keep turning your volume up over the course, let's say you start there, over the course of the set, keep turning it up, keep turning it up, keep turning it up, to overcome crowd noise or just stage noise or just your ears getting tired out, because all those three things can happen during the course of a worship service. Your ears can just get tired and not be hearing as clearly as opposed to when you first started the set for the evening or the afternoon. You may need to look at investing into some other headphones, some more isolating headphones that can isolate. What I mean by isolate is block out external noises, so the sound coming out of this wire into your headphones is the sound that you're hearing and the only sound that you're hearing. So those of us that have ear molds, that is what we're hearing. It's very, very difficult. It's a good thing that it blocks out pretty much all external noise. So that's the last thing I wanted to comment on. So just a quick recap. We need to be able to hear ourselves. So do not be afraid to crank this up and get it where you need it. That's perfectly okay. Feel free to ask for help if you're not getting the volume that you need. You need to be able to feel the rhythm, the bass, the kick, or all of the drums for that matter. We have the musician saying that the click and the kick hit you down the middle. Just a good starting point. And then if you sense that you're not getting enough volume and over time that you're just having to turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up, well then grab one of us tech guys and we can point you in the right direction to get you a better set of headphones. It is an investment, but it's important that you hear good, and that's why we made these videos. We want you to hear good, and take care.